Good morning, everybody, and welcome to What's Real in Real Estate, where we talk about what's really happening in the real estate market. I'm Ellie Morris with Signature Real Estate Group. I'm thrilled to be here. We got a great guest today, Brad Spires from up north, and we're going to get to Brad in just a minute. Let me take some time and talk about the numbers. I'll tell you, our numbers are blowing up. You know, if you think back about 2 months ago, we were talking about we didn't even have a month's supply. Now we're pushing 3 months supply of inventory. So for all you buyers out there, hey, that excuse making is over. You don't have to pay $50,000 over anymore. We have over 7,000 single family homes available today. 90 days ago, we had less than 2,000. So, and by the way, we're only selling about 2,300. So we're well over that three month supply. So it's getting a lot easier for you to get out there and buy a home now. And whether you like it or not, rates are still fantastic. Because keep it in mind, if you're renting, your interest rate is 100%, not 6%. All right, let's talk about a few things that are happening in Vegas. We got a lot of stuff going on here now. You know, boring is now underground. They've reached Resort World. And for those of you that aren't aware, Elon Musk's Boring Company is building our own little subway system here in Las Vegas. Run along the strip. It's going to run out to the airport, and it's going to go up to downtown. Again, currently the first stop outside of the convention center is the Resort World. So that's the first stop. It's exciting. It'll be everywhere soon. I'm not a big soccer fan, but Real Madrid is playing Barcelona this week at the Legion Stadium. That's a big deal for a lot of people. I know soccer's real popular. And of course, our Aces, our women's basketball team, is on track for another championship run, and we're excited about having them have a great season. All right, here's what you're all here for. You're here to meet Brad. I've only known Brad for maybe a year, maybe not even a year. I'll tell you what, I'm just one of the genuinely good guys in our business. He's from Gardnerville. For those of you who don't know where Gardnerville is, I'm like you. I didn't know where it was, so I pulled it up on a map today, but it's up in Douglas County. So, Brad, welcome. So glad to have you. Appreciate you taking the time very much. Thank you.
Gosh, it's my pleasure to be here, Ellie. Thanks for the invite.
Great. Well, listen, we're going to talk real estate in a little bit. We're going to talk about the markets. But first, tell everybody a little bit about Brad. Fill him in on you, man.
Okay, I'll give you the short version as quickly as I can. Grew up in Texas, a Baylor graduate, Air Force weapons officer on the F-4. Was fortunate enough in 1975 to get selected to attend the fighter weapons school there at Nellis for the 6-month course. Better still, was fortunate enough to finish at the top of the class and get to go back as an instructor. So in 1977, I bought a new Lewis Homes Hacienda at Hacienda in Eastern.
Uh-huh.
And for those who have the least bit of concern where things are now, my interest rate was 17 and 3/4. The house was $100,000, and my house payment was $1,245 a month.
This is 1979, 1980?
1977.
77. Unbelievable.
1977.
Wow.
So I'm instructing at the school, and a short time after being there, things were really changing. The war was over. There weren't a lot of bullets and bombs available. Everything was moving to the Guard, and I got orders to go to Germany. I didn't want to go. So I got out of the actives and took a flying job with the Reno Guard. Looking for a job, and my first job I took was when Terry Wright was buying Western Title from Ron Evans and Carolyn Witkowski. We're going way back now, okay? And I got hired as one of the marketing guys, and Jeff Harris was in that group with me. Had the pleasure of becoming good friends over time with Dale Poole, who still is involved in the industry. Learned a lot about the industry, thought I would stay in that, and had an invite from my neighbor to get in the casino business. He was a marketing VP for the 3 Sahara properties, and Ed Nigro, who had been the boss, was going over to be the court-appointed manager at the Aladdin while Johnny Carson was supposed to buy it.
Oh, really? So you were back in Vegas then?
Yes, yeah. I was living in Hacienda in Eastern in Lewis Home, paying 17 and 3/4%. high interest rate. Anyway, so he said, I'll teach you the business. And if we get the casino, it'll be Johnny Carson's. It'll be the greatest job you ever had. You're going to love it.
Hmm.
So I did that. And sure enough, the uh, the review journal says Carson completes the sale, deal closing in the morning. The Las Vegas Sun comes out and says deal fell apart. So they closed it down. True to his word, he helped me, and I got an interview at Sahara Tahoe and took a sales and marketing job at Sahara Tahoe and moved up to Northern Nevada in '79.
Oh, so
Spent
that's how you got up north. Okay.
exactly still flying with the guard. I was flying Braniff every weekend for $34 round trip up to fly with the guard on the weekends and work in the casino business. So uh, as I was getting acclimated to Lake Tahoe, uh, Caesars came in to buy the Park Tahoe across the street. I had met Charlie Monahan, the senior VP of marketing for Caesars World, on the plane a few times. He asked me to come over to Caesars. I spent 10 years there. I was their director of sales and marketing, and was there when the property was sold. Short version there, I had turned down a year before coming to the Mirage, uh, 2 years prior to opening with Charlie when he was retiring.
And you know the Mirage is going away, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, change is something that happens in Nevada, isn't it? And Charlie said, if you don't take the job, your days with Caesars are numbered. My wife did want to raise our kids there. She wanted them to be brought up here in our little town. So we both started real estate school, going in the evenings to the high school
Oh.
for real estate school. We're finishing up school in October, and in November, Caesar sold, and I got downsized with 201 others. So on December the 3rd, 1990, I took my real estate exam and started January the 2nd at Caldwell Banker Bowser Realty at South Lake Tahoe. Now, here's where the story becomes really important for those agents that are breaking into the market or seeing a market that's changing. I did everything right. I did everything right. I did mailers. I went to my database. I was an officer of the company, new marketing, no business for 6 months.
Hmm.
No business. Finally, one of the sole surviving officers called me to put his house on the market. I listed his house, got it sold in a very short period of time, sat down with him and said, Mark, why is nobody doing business with me? He said, because everybody knows that you got a year buyout and you're going back into the casino business. So I sat down with my broker and I said, what do I do? How do I convince people that I'm in real estate for the long term? He said, get your broker's license. I went, genius idea. So I took a couple of weeks and sequestered and prepped and got my broker's license. I did a mailer that I had sold Mark's house, and that for those of you who think I'm not committed to this business, I just received my broker's license and I wouldn't have put myself through this if I wasn't committed. And Ellie, it was like the faucet turned on.
Isn't that great?
My business started. And
That's
that was
fantastic.
32 years ago.
That's great. That's great.
So
And you're with Remax now, right? Remax?
I spent a year and a half only at Caldwell Banker Bowser at the lake, and I found I was doing a lot of my business down in the valley as opposed to at the lake. Remax was starting up an office. They had 6 agents. So they interviewed with me on our kitchen table. And my wife was just hilarious. She goes, you're just starting to have some success at Caldwell Banker. Why are you going to change? So why don't we get all of our gambling out of the way early? Let's go try this, be on your own and see how it goes. And for me, it worked incredibly well. I was very fortunate in that I had a good mentor here, Dick McCole, and we have been roommates and shared a suite for 30 years.
Wow, that's great. How is the market up by you right now?
Just exactly what you said. It's amazing how similar our numbers are going to be. Let me talk just about Douglas County here.
Yeah.
Uh, we used to run about 300, 350 listings, which was a balance. In real estate, we call 6 months is a balanced market, not one side to seller, one side to buyer. So 2.5 months ago, Ellie, we had 51 active listings.
Wow.
This Tuesday, we had 193.
Mm.
Exactly what you're seeing, four
Yeah.
times the amount on the market. The number that you look at, and I know you've shared this with people, that you look at the listing price, the sales price, and that number's been 105, 106, 107%. That number is now under 100%.
Yeah.
So we're seeing for the first time in 2.5 years, price reductions, adjustments to the market, and those that think the interest rate is something that is making you not be in this business doesn't understand how good a 5 or 6% interest rate is.
Oh,
17.75 I paid for that house in Las Vegas.
Brad, when I bought my first house in 1981, interest rates were 18, 19%. I had a friend who had a friend was selling his house, so I bought it from him on a land contract. I got 11%, and I was bragging. I'm telling everybody I got 11%. I was so excited. And that's when it was not long after they put that due on sale clause in, so you couldn't do land contracts anymore. But yeah, I mean, when I bought my home out here in '05, rates were 7%. Never even gave it a thought. People have been spoiled. I think once people get readjusted to 6% as the new norm, it'd be fine.
Yep, yep, it'll be good. It'll be good. So our markets are very similar, and
Yeah.
we're seeing the same thing.
Now,
We still have,
Lake Tahoe is not in Douglas County, is it?
yes, it is
Oh,
a
it
portion.
is.
Okay,
Okay.
so the southeast shore up to the beginning of North Shore, there's a portion uh, that is in Carson, and their incline is part of Washoe.
Okay.
Okay, and so incline is a standalone board there, um, and I don't know if we're going to go into talking a little bit about the state and the state association or not, but there is a
Yes, you were the past
well,
president. When I met you, you were the outgoing president. So
well, let
sure,
me share
talk about
something
it.
for you.
Yeah.
There has been over the years, and I was the local board president in 1998, and for the first time this last year in history, we have had the five leaders on your executive team that represent all five of the local boards.
That's
Okay,
great. Now tell
we've got
everybody who aren't aware, and I wasn't aware until I got involved in the board. We have the board here in Las Vegas. You've got Incline Village, which we're all going to be at in September for the meeting there, and then your board is called what?
Sierra Nevada Realtors,
Then
okay,
Elko has a board.
Elko board, and then Reno Sparks.
Okay, so those are the five. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
And there's a leader from each. And what we've been able to do as that executive team is really do away with the border ideas and talk about what do Nevada agents need to better serve their clients. So that part's been very exciting. I'm glad you
That is
mentioned that.
great because in the world we live in today, there's so much divisiveness with everything, especially politics. And I noticed not a lot, but there is a little bit of that, the up north versus the down south. And to have five people all together working for the same cause is so fantastic.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great. And when I was local board president, uh, it seems that that's when most folks will choose to see if they want to go up into state leadership. And I have to tell you the story. It's another incline story. Kelly Rubin had been the Las Vegas president, and at the installation of new officers at Incline, she came over and sat down beside me and said, "Do you really, really, really want to be state president?" I said, "I do not. I want to get into the political side." She said, "Will you endorse me for state president?" I said, "100%." She goes, "I'll get you in legislative." So she put me on legislative committee. Now jump ahead. That's in 2000. So I've been on legislative committee for 5 years. And in 2005, I get an invite to have dinner down at the Italian restaurant at the bottom of the Barbary Coast. Uh, and I get that invite from Jack Woodcock, George Peak, and Bert Gurr.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking, what is this about? We're having a delightful dinner. And then George asked me a question, and I responded to it. And then Bert said, well, what about this? And that went on for maybe 15 minutes on different topics. And then George said, I'm good. Bert said, I'm good. What do you think, Jack? Jack said, I think we should have a little more of that wine. And I was like, what was that about? Well, that was my interview with them for being made legislative chair for the 2007 session. So I was legislative chair in the 2007 session, was retreaded in the 2015 session, and then chaired the PAC for 2 years before I came into the state leadership role. So it's been really exciting for me. And for those that are reluctant to get into any type of leadership role, the more you give, the more you get back. And for me, it's equated to not just a feeling of doing good for your peers and for our customers, but it's been very financially satisfying for me. I was in New Orleans when I was president elect of the local board in '98. It started raining and we had to walk back to the hotel. Pat Swigert was the president in Reno. I gave Pat my coat and she said, thank you, that's really sweet. We got back, she called me, and Pat was doing all of the Fannie Mae foreclosures for
Uh-huh.
Northern Nevada. She said, I'm getting a little overwhelmed. Thank you for letting me have your coat. I'm going to pay you back manyfold. I'm putting you in to be the Fannie Mae rep for Douglas County. So in 2000, I got to be the Fannie Mae rep for Douglas County. And for 6 years, did foreclosures for Fannie Mae. That never would have happened. I never would have met Pat. I never would have been in a position for that to happen. And it's equated
And
to
it
an
really and it boils down to you give, but you got to give, not expecting to get.
right.
And some people think, "Oh, I'm going to volunteer. I know I'll get." I'm very active with VA rep. You have a chapter. You had a. I don't know if there's, is there a chapter up there? The
Yes,
VA rep. Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I invited a friend of mine who's a lender to come down, and the first thing he's talking about how we can get business. And I said, you know what? If that's what you're coming here for, pass. We're not looking for people, but you know what? When you do give, good things come back to you. But you got to give with the right reason for the right cause.
Right. Right. And last year when I was president, second best year I've had in real estate in 32 years.
Isn't that something?
And yeah, yeah, it's amazing. And you get to know the folks in our industry that are the leaders. And
Oh
you get
yeah.
to make some really good decisions. One of the things that we have started being more and more involved in DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And when we chose to make that committee, that was a decision I got to make as who to chair that. And it was obvious Stephanie Grant is the person to do that.
Good girl.
It's
Yep.
been phenomenal. And we are just really blessed with the folks that we have in leadership today.
Yeah.
They're taking our industry forward, and it's fantastic to see.
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Um, so, what do you see as the biggest difference between? I know they're huge in size, but the biggest difference between working the market in Las Vegas and working a market up in Douglas County?
That's a great question and one I learned really early. I got 44,000 people in my service area. So you can't become focused on one small segment of the market. You just can't do that because there's not enough. There's not enough of that business to do. Fortunately, I mentioned Dick McCall that I've roomed with forever. Dick said, you know what? We got to get better at this commercial stuff. So you'll see some CCIM things up
I
there.
was going to ask you if you do commercial also. So you do
Yeah.
commercial too.
Oh yeah. So we started CCIM. We went through all the courses, and of course, at that point, I didn't have any of the sales to warrant me being able to take the the exam. I never took the exam, but I learned so much that about 2/3 of my business is commercial now. Plus, again, I farmed a local area. Uh, I worked the commercial market, and what has really been for me the last 10 years, biggest success was my best friend and development partner had built some hangars at the Minden Tahoe Airport, and he passed, and his kids said, "You got to get rid of these." Well, I had no idea how to go about that. And there had been an attorney on the other end of a big shopping center that I had closed up in Reno, and she represented the seller. She was really astute. Her name's Rita Ricks in Reno. I called Rita and I said, "Have you ever done a hangar condo before?" And she goes, "It's funny you ask. We just did some in Boise." I said, "Want to do some here with me?" And my partner had a 4 unit, a 5 unit, and a 6 unit hangars. And the condo idea is you own your portion and you share the underlying taxes, insurance, the ground lease, fire suppression, and you own a hangar and you own your portion and pay your portion. Well, at about the ninth month of trying to get that done here, I was going to give up. And Dick said, "Stay with it." Well, the 10th month, I finally got the first four done. Fast forward to today, I've sold 86 hangars at Minden
Wow.
Tahoe Airport
Wow.
in the last 10 years and am building 12 more right now. So the key is to recognize when there's an opportunity for you that you know something about, that you're drawn to, and develop that, and you can become an expert in that area. And in Las Vegas, with the amount of listings, I think you probably can be an area expert, have a farm that you own as an area farm. But up here, you got to do some of everything.
Do you have any foreclosures up there right now?
No,
No, we don't have anything
no.
here. I got into the foreclosure business all completely by accident. When I was in Michigan, in Detroit, I got a call from Aquin. Remember Aquin?
Yeah.
OC,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
They called me and offered me a listing, take a listing in Maryland. I said, I'm in Michigan. Okay. They called back about a month later. We have an assignment for you in Maryland. I said, I'm in Michigan, not Maryland. Third time, Maryland. I said, for God, just leave me alone. Or if you get. So I moved to Vegas. I get a call from them again. They have another assignment for me in Maryland. I said, what's with you? I said, I'm in Las Vegas. They go, Las Vegas? And boom, I start getting assignments. And that was in '06. Went until the government bailed the banks out in '09, and I was out of business then. But that was fun. That was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
And I was just talking with our broker, John Fisher, this morning and said, I don't, I don't anticipate we're going to go there. I said, but do you remember back in 2007, 8, when you could walk past another agent's office and you could say, "Oh, you're holding for Wells Fargo," because you knew the music that they were holding for Wells Fargo. Oh, you're on with B of A. Oh, yeah, you're on with Aqua. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I don't miss it. Yeah, those
I
short
was
sales
very
were.
fortunate. Yeah, I had a call when things were starting to come back a little bit from Prescient, and Prescient out of Florida was doing all of the bank that they had taken back, and that was a fantastic company, and was able to pick up a couple of subdivisions up here
Oh
and
yeah.
move those for Prescient. So, yeah, it's adapting to the market, and it's the same thing, Ellie, that we talk about is what where's the market going, and where am I, and how do I fit in, and
Yeah.
how do I find my niche?
Hey, I got to ask you, since you're in commercial and you're in Douglas County, not Wasso, have you ever sold a brothel?
No,
Because you
have
got
not.
brothels, you have brothels in
No,
Douglas, right?
no, 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 no. Lyon County,
Oh, I
Story
thought the only
County.
two counties that didn't allow them were Clark and Wasso.
That's based on the 300,000,
Yeah.
but Douglas County is pretty conservative and would never
Okay.
let that happen there.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you
So
a
those are
UNR fan?
across the border, huh?
Are you a fan of the Wolfpack?
Oh, I've funded two bachelors and two masters there, and
Oh,
And my sons who have those are both married to UNR graduates and the Orvis Nursing School. BSRN is my other daughter-in-law. That's something I think that's important about our small town, that I'm just blessed beyond belief. Both my boys are here. They came back. One is a principal. His wife is a teacher. My youngest son is a corporate pilot for a businessman here, a chief pilot on a Gulfstream, and his wife, that's the Orvis graduate, is the school nurse. The oldest has granddaughter 5. They live a mile away. The
Uh,
youngest 4-year-old and 2-year-old, they live 3 blocks away.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, football season's starting, and I got bad news for you. We're bringing the
Well,
Fremont.
you're still rooting for UNLV.
Uh,
That is bad news. I am really sorry to hear
well,
that.
when I got here from Detroit, there were no professional teams. I had to find some sport to follow. So it looks like the Fremont Cannon is coming back here this year.
Yeah, you and Lynham continue to think that way. That'll be good. Listen, when I went to Baylor, they won 8 games in 4 years. I was there,
Oh,
and now they're a
really?
major power. So I'm back rooting for Baylor these
Well,
days.
good. We have hope then again for UNLV. I think we have never had it. We have not had. I think we have one winning season in this century. So I'm hoping that we can at least have a winning season this year. But UNR's got a good program, football.
They've done a great job. The new coach has been
Yeah.
terrific. Northern Nevada is just a wonderful place to live at. And people say, "What's the quality of life where you are?" Little league team I coached for the 12 and 13-year-olds. 9 of the 9 starters, 8 of those young men live here in Douglas County. They've all
Wow.
come back.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Listen, we're running out of time, but again, I can't thank you enough for taking the time and sharing your story with everybody. I look forward to seeing you in September up in Incline Village. Be my first time there. I'm real excited about it.
Oh my goodness, it is absolutely the most beautiful place on earth. We
That's
are,
right here.
again, living here is winters at the lake and summers at the lake, and down in our little valley where it's green all year round. It's just is fantastic. So look forward to seeing you. And agents, if you haven't made plans yet, the convention will be a fabulous convention. We've got a lot of great things planned, and some good speakers, some good education, and some fun times.
I'm looking forward to it, Brad. Looking real forward. Thanks again. Have a great weekend. Again, thank you so much for coming on.
Ellie, it's my pleasure. I appreciate the invite.
Thanks. Everybody stay safe out there. Be nice to each other, please. It's a crazy world. Take care. Bye-bye.